Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful and exciting session of Grammar Live with me, Alexander. I want to trust and believe your week has been fruitful so far, and I again want to believe you are practicing your usage of the grammar. Today is the last day on our wonderful series, Conjunctions. So I will take us through the final example or the final type of conjunctions, and then we'll do a total recap of all that we've done from the beginning of conjunction to the very last day, which is today. So as a way of recap, we started by looking at what a conjunction is. When we say a conjunction is a word which connects two words or clauses or sentences or phrases and show the relation between them. A conjunction is a word that connects phrases, sentences, another group of words and establish the relation between them. We proceed to look at the types of conjunctions where we say we have three basic types of conjunctions. Where we talked about the coordinating conjunction, where we say a coordinating conjunction is used to link or join two words or phrases that are equally important and complete in terms of grammar when you compare them to each other. We looked at the examples and we see the common examples of coordinating conjunction. That's when we came up with the acronym fanboys. So that is a common example of coordinating conjunctions that we use. The acronym fanboy, where we say the F stands for, A and, N for no, B for but, O for all, Y for yet, and then the S for soon. We looked at the various usage of them and how we apply them in our writing and then in our speaking. Our subsequent meeting, we looked at subordinating conjunction, where we say that a subordinating conjunction is used to join an independent or a complete clause with a dependent clause, where the dependent clause rely on the main clause for meaning and relevance. We say a subordinating conjunction is used to join or link an independent and a complete clause with a dependent clause that relies on the main clause. And here we say the main clause is the independent clause, and the dependent clause rely on it for meaning and relevance. We proceed to look at some examples of subordinating conjunction and how we use them. We say we have examples to be although, as, before, since, until, and whether. Today, before we proceed in today's lesson, as always, I would like to encourage you to share the links with your friends, invite them in, send in your comments, your questions, your contributions, anything bothering you with regards to conjunction, what you've treated so far to this very moment. Okay, so kindly share the link and send in your comment. Now, today, to end the episode or the series on conjunction, we want to talk about correlating conjunction. We want to talk about correlating conjunction. So, before we proceed to look into details correlating conjunction, I want us to get the understanding from this perspective. Let's look at the word correlate or to correlate. What specifically or what really does it mean when we say to correlate? Now, to correlate simply or in simple terms is to show similarity in terms of quality, quantity, and numbers. So when we talk of correlating conjunctions are pairs of conjunctions that is used to join sentences or group of words in a sentence. They are usually pairs. They usually work together, two sets of words that serves or that is used to show or to establish a connection between words, phrases, sentences, or clauses in a sentence. So a correlating conjunctions are pairs of conjunctions used to show or used to connect different words or sentences. Different words or sentences. The key thing here is that for correlating conjunctions, they always work together. They work in pairs. It is always in pairs. Always they are in pairs. They are always in pairs. Okay? So correlating conjunctions follow the same set of rules as coordinating conjunction. So just as we use, or in the way that we use coordinating conjunction, we use correlating conjunction in the same manner. Correlating conjunctions is used in the same manner or in the same way we use coordinating conjunction. Now, both types of conjunctions functions in the same way. So, correlating conjunction and coordinating conjunction functions in the same way, and we use them in the same manner. So the way we use a coordinating conjunction, we use a correlating conjunction in the same way. Now the difference here is that the correlating conjunctions are composed of two parts. The correlating conjunctions are composed of two parts. That is the only difference, the key difference between a coordinating conjunction and then a correlating conjunction. Because when we come to the usage, they are used in the same way, and then they follow the same set of rules. But the uniqueness of the correlating conjunction is that it works in pairs. It works in pairs. Now, let's look at the common types or common examples of correlating conjunction. The common of these conjunctions are both and and, which is a pair, both and, that's a pair. Not only, but also, that's also another pair. So for the first one, we have both and, that is one pair. We have not only, but also as another pair. We have either or as another pair. Either or, that's another pair. And then the final one, we have neither nor as a pair. Neither nor as a pair. Neither nor as a pair. So these are the common types or common examples of correlating conjunctions. And the key here is that they work in pairs. They are always working in pairs. Always working in pairs. Common examples, we have both and as one pair, not only but also as another pair, either or as a pair, and finally, neither nor as a pair. Now, let's look at some examples. Let's take them in an example, okay? That will make you understand better. So, for example, not only my sister, but also my cousin is here. Not only my sister, but also my cousin is here. So you notice that the correlating conjunction not only and but also. Not only but also. Let's look at another example. Either the cops or the robber was blamed for the victim's death. Either the cops or the robber was blamed for the victim's death. So we have either or working together. Now somebody will tell me that in some instances, why is it that I use either the cops and then or the robber and the verb is in a singular form? And that brings us to the rule that we need to understand when we come to using correlating conjunction. Now, if we are using correlating conjunction, the subject that is closer to the verb determines whether the verb is singular or plural. The subject that is closer to the verb determines whether the verb should be singular or it should be plural. So with my last example that I gave, I say either the cups, which is plural, cups, or the rubber, which is singular. I use the verb singular form, was to be blamed for the death of the victim. I use was because the rubber there is singular, so that determines the form or the form of the verb to be used in the sentence. In a case where the subject closer to the verb is plural, the verb takes the plural form. For example, either my sister or my parents were in attendance. Either my sister or my parents were in attendance. I notice that the subject closer to the verb is plural, which is parents. That is why the verb takes the plural form. So if you compare this particular one to the first one, where either the cops or the robbers were blamed for the victim's death, you notice that the subject closer to the verb is singular, so the verb takes the singular form. That is a key thing and the main rule that you need to understand if you are using correlating conjunction. Now, the second one that you also need to understand is that when two subjects are connected with both and, the verb is always plural. The verb is always plural. So the first element or the first key in using correlating conjunction is that the subject that is closer to the verb determines whether the verb is singular or plural. But in an instance or in a case where two subjects are connected with both and, the verb is always plural. The verb is always plural. Okay? The verb is always plural. So, for example, both my sister and my cousin are here. Both my sister and my cousin are here. So in this case, we are using both and. So once we are using both and, the rule says that when we are using both and, the verb should always be in the plural form. The verb should always be in the plural form. That is a key rule that you need to understand if you want to use correlating conjunction. I want to trust and believe it makes sense to you. So, as a way of summary for today's lesson, we talked about correlating conjunction. What we say, correlating conjunctions follow the same set of rules as coordinating conjunction. Now, both types of conjunctions function in the same way. The exception here is that correlating conjunctions are composed of two parts. They are composed of two parts. They are composed of two parts. And then we proceed to look at the common examples of correlating conjunctions. What we say is the common ones are both and as a pair, not only but also as another pair, either or as a pair, and finally we say neither nor as a pair. Neither nor as a pair. Okay? Then from there we proceed to look at the rules that you need to follow anytime you want to use a correlating conjunction. What we say, the first thing that you need, and first and foremost thing that you need to understand, is that the subject that is closer to the verb determines whether the verb is singular or plural. And then we looked at some examples to illustrate this particular point. Then the last set of rules that we talked about is when two subjects are connected with both and, the verb is always in the plural form. The verb is always in the plural form. And this brings us to the end of our series on conjunctions. I want to use this opportunity to thank you so much for making the time to join me and in joining these and every Thursday. And I want to appeal to you and to encourage you to share the links with your friends. I want to encourage you to send in your comments, your questions, your contributions, anything bothering your mind with regards to grammar and its usage. And I also want to encourage you to continue practicing. The key thing that you need to understand in acquiring or using a language is all about practicing. So make the effort, develop the habit of practicing everything that we are doing or we've been doing so far. From the beginning to this very particular moment, if you religiously follow all that we've done, you should be able to make meaningful and complete sentences. So to that effect, I would like to be hearing, or I'd like to hear from you. So kindly write to me, send me your comment on this page or the numbers on your screen, so that we, both you and I, really appreciate the efforts that we are both putting in together to help ourselves to make grammar a very useful tool in our way of communicating. Till then, I wish you the very best of the day. Make the time with me next week for another exciting series of grammar life. As always, remember, with grammar, you will speak better. See you next time.